Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie. Today I have a sneak peek from Diamond Art Studio UK of a completely new kind of project that I have yet to see in this kind of form in the diamond painting world. This is going to be a temperature project, and if you're not sure what that is, I have done a couple of these the past couple of years on my channel. It is where you track the temperature during the year for a particular location in some kind of diamond painting form or cross stitch form using a chart. So I'm going to use this as a demo and a little bit more later, but it's this kind of concept. It actually has shelves similar to this, and I am not only going to do an unboxing with you guys, but I'm also going to try to demo parts of this and explain it in such a way that if this is a project that you've never tried to do or it's something that's just seems confusing, I'm hopefully going to make it feel a lot less so and like something that you can just tackle. And Diamond Art Studio UK has already done several things to make this easier and take out some of the legwork that you would otherwise have to do. So we're going to open this up. Let's just get right into it. So first, Diamond Art Studio UK does always pack their kits in this brown paper, do the cute purple ribbon. We have a card here. Thank you for your purchase. It has some helpful links here, their shop, and then I'm absolutely going to recommend that you check out their Facebook page. This is such a helpful resource. It is where they are posting their updates, things like new releases that are coming, back in stock notifications. They are super communicative and try to keep everyone up to date with what's going on. That Facebook page is your best bet for that kind of information. Also, their kits are indie approved, and this box is heavy. If you live in the US like I do, and you're worried about tariffs and the shipping situation, I am going to talk about that in more detail later. We're going to do the fun stuff first. But long story short is Diamond Art Studio UK has figured out the best way that they can possibly mitigate it and trying to keep the costs as low as they can for us. So, and US shipping is now open again with them. So we'll talk more about that later though. I also wanted to mention here just right up front that if you want to save 10% off your Diamond Art Studio UK purchase of their kits, I have a 10% off code that is WASHI10, WASHI10, and it's an affiliate code, so I may make a small commission if you choose to use it. Thank you so much if you do. No pressure, but hopefully that'll help you save a little bit while you're doing some shopping. As far as their kits, they're going to come in these purple boxes, instructions, things that are hypothetically included. The toolkits are optional, which I appreciate. And the end of the box is going to tell you what kit this is. That's a peek at what this chart is going to look like. So the chart itself is by Teeny Weeny XStitch, who has an incredible Etsy shop of so many things to look at. It's dangerous in the best way. So if you want to go do some shopping, want to look at maybe doing a cross stitch conversion. Wow, the sun just went behind a cloud. I'm filming during the day, which is not normally when I'm filming. So apologies for any weird light fluctuations we have going on. But okay, let's talk about this though. So first things first, this is going to be your canvas that is different from the temperature projects I have otherwise done or seen done, which is a blank canvas that you have to fill in and read a chart from. This actually has everything printed for you, which I feel like already removes some of the stress, some of the like extra work that you would otherwise have to do. And we have just several packs of diamonds. We're going to talk about color ranges and whatnot here shortly too, and how this is all going to work. So don't fret. I promise I'm going to explain this. And here, helpful instructions and sticker labels. Let's pull this out first. I did not get a toolkit with mine. I always tell them don't bother to include one. I've got plenty of toolkit things. I don't need more. So first, you do get a set of pre-cut sticker labels that you can use these. I will explain what these different numbers mean and why we have variations like this. It's going to make sense. Please don't panic, my friends. But long story short, you do have the DMC code in here, so you know what DMC code it matches with. And this I'm going to cut out and use in my paper logbook once I start working on the kit. We'll get to that. Here, yeah, let's talk about their instructions. You guys, if this is a kit that a kind of project you have not done before, Please, 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 when you get yours, read these instructions. It's going to answer a ton of questions for you. Keep this handy. It is your guide. It is your Bible. You want to keep it right there. Okay. So instructions. Each shelf represents a month. So the top shelf is January, the shelf below it is February, etc. What is happening here is that you're going to have ultimately a representation in some form. There's lots of customization options available we're going to talk about, where this shelf up here is going to, in some way, by color, represent what the temperatures were in January. You can choose if that is the high temperature, the low temperature, the average. You can pick. There's even more customization available within that we'll talk about. But the long and short of it is, this is going to be the month of January. This is the month of February, month of March. Each potion bottle is going to be a day. January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, so on and so forth. Okay? So the bottles and things themselves, little beakers, little cups, those are going to be the ones that we are filling in with customized colors. Now, there are parts of this canvas, like the background, that is not going to be what you're customizing. These, you're going to follow what the symbols are on your DMC code chart, and everyone is going to have the same, like, different colors going on in the background. It's the ones with the white background that are going to be what you get to customize. Okay? Okay. So each shelf represents a month. Each bottle represents a day, regardless of the size of the bottle. Each bottle, this is, okay, stick with me here. This is new to me too, actually, this specific element of it. Each bottle actually uses 2 to 4 colors. The symbols of the ranges are the numbers 1 to 4. 1 is the lightest, 4 is the darkest. I will explain. I will write this out. It will make more sense when I write it out if you're kind of like, wait, what does that mean? Okay. So before you start the project, it is important to decide on the temperature range for each color. They provided drills for 4 ranges of temperatures, but you can always add additional color ranges yourself. So here's some examples, and then they have different color ranges. So here's how it is sort of pre-charted for you, is the idea that rather than each color range having just one DMC code like I have on my chart over here, where each day only ends up having one color to it, this actually has more variation to it. So what you end up deciding is what color family is this particular day and range. So let me write this out. It's gonna make more sense, I feel like, if we write it out. So give me just a sec to grab a pad of paper. All right, so the first thing you're gonna want to do is figure out what is the spread of temperatures for where you live. For me and where I live, Southern California, we don't have as much temperature variance. And so I decided that my overall ranges would be a high of 59 degrees and below, up to 100 degrees and above. So that's my overall temperature range that I kind of will be tracking within. So this is, for example, this is the chart that I wrote out for my current temperature project. Note, I have a lot more colors that I'm using for my current project. This has fewer. So the concept is the same though. So if I'm saying that my temperature range, let's say we're going from 60 degrees Fahrenheit to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, the difference between these is going to be 40. How many color families do we have to choose from? We have 4 different color families to choose from. Ignore the number of symbols. These are the number of color families that we're working with, because each temperature is going to be represented by a color family, not just one DMC code. Since we have 4 color families, 40 divided by 4, 10. That's going to be my ranges. So in this case, if I'm filling this out, I don't know why I feel weird about writing on pen in this. My first range is going to be, my first range is going to be from 60 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. My second range is going to be from, we'll just say 71 to 80 degrees. Third range is 81 to 90. Fourth is 91 to 100. And anything below 60, I'll just loop in the first color range. Anything above 100, I'll loop into the fourth color range. So you see how you can figure out how to divvy these up. This is if you're doing it just like the complete standard way. We haven't gotten into like the additional customization options. This is how I would split this up. So I think I would start with, let's say the colder ranges, we'll go with blues. So any temperature, let's say it's January 1st, and my high temperature for January 1st is 62 degrees Fahrenheit. 62 degrees Fahrenheit falls within this first temperature range. And I want to go with blues because blues are colder. So January 1st, we're going to be using the blue colors on this particular potion bottle. So what I'm going to do, let's pull out the drills. Let me pull out the drills, and this will, I think, make even more sense when I can show you kind of what this is going to look like. But I hope that that makes sense as far as determining what your ranges will be if you're going to do this exactly as charted with various color families with no other customization involved. So yeah, that's gonna be my temperature ranges. Let's go ahead and take out some of these diamonds, and I'll kind of show you what I mean by color families and how this is going to look in practice. So I know that we have, should be 4 different shades of blue. Let's see, this is the darkest. Okay, there's my shades of blue. So these 4 colors are going to be the ones that, if I'm doing it as charted, make up anything that's between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Why I need all 4 colors is because this particular potion bottle, which we've decided is going to be blue, is going to be the color family for this one, has all 4 of these colors in it. So this is when you're going to look at your chart and go, okay, number 1, it actually has 1D on here, and that's going to be symbol number 1. I'm going to fill in with the lightest color. Symbol number 2, 2D, is going to be the second lightest color. Symbol number 3, kind of a medium blue. You can see the 3 in there. And then symbol number 4 is the darkest. I think the idea behind this is that you're getting some fun like shading and color variation to these potion bottles. I'm pretty sure that if you go to like the cross stitch posting on Teeny Weeny cross stitch of this, you'll see some different examples of how this looks. So the idea is that instead of just having a solid color, like this potion bottle is all one color, instead you're getting like some variation to it. That's like if each of these books for this day, if I had multiple different colors for just one temperature, because then the books would have more variation to them instead of being all just one singular color. So that's, I think, the main difference between this and any other temperature projects I've worked on and seen other people work on, is it just adds a little bit of extra to the colors you're going to be seeing in the potion bottles. So we've done day number 1, right? And it was 62 degrees Fahrenheit was the high, and we filled this in with all the different shades of blue. Check. Perfect. Let's say it's January 2nd, and we're on to this second potion bottle. Let's say the high, I don't know, let's say it's 71. And I went ahead and wrote this out to make it less confusing, and filled this in. So if it's 71 degrees, then that's going to be my green shades instead. And so I have my 4 different shades of green. And I'm going to use these to reference to do this second potion bottle, again with 1, 2, 3, and 4. Some of these days, like it looks like January 3rd, only has 2 colors in it, only has symbols 2 and 3. And so it varies, like if it's going to use all 4 colors or not. But that's how that would work. Now let's talk about some different customization options, because Diamond Art Studio UK has tried to include some different ways that you can further customize this. They've given us a ton of extra diamonds with some of these options in mind. So the first way that you can tackle this project is how I've already kind of explained and demoed it, where you're saying, these are the color ranges I want to use for the entire year. And the color families are going to be for each temperature range. Something that you might run into if you do it this way, just as an FYI, is that you might find that, especially depending on where you live, if you have a much wider range of like your lows to highs, a low to high temperature throughout the year. Like for example, if I still lived in Ohio, the lowest high that I might have might be like under 30 degrees Fahrenheit, and the highest high might be over 100 degrees. And so my temperature ranges might be 20 degrees, 30 degrees. And then in the month of January, there might not be that much variation, to the point that if I do it this way, then all of January might be blues. Like every single one of these bottles might just be the blue color family based on what the high temperature was that day. And you may or may not want it that way. So if you want to have more variation on a specific shelf, what you could do is break this down further and take a look at just the month of January. What are the average temperatures in January? What's the average high temperature range in January? And say it's from, let's say in my case, from 60 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. I could instead break that down, that particular range, just for that month into 4 different ranges and still get to use every single color family in the month of January and say, okay, anywhere from 60 to 62 degrees Fahrenheit is going to be the blue color family. Anywhere from 63 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit is going to be the green color family, and everywhere from, so on and so forth. And that's just the month of January. And then once we get to summer, let's say my average high temperatures like this month are going to be anywhere between 70 degrees and 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And so my temperature ranges will be different. Like from 70 to 75 will be the blues, so on and so forth. So if you tackle it that way, where you're looking at specific ranges month to month instead of the year as a whole, that means that you're going to get to actually use every single color family in each month instead of having, lots of blues in the colder months if you go with that color family for the low temperatures and so on. It just is up to you if you want to have that kind of variety to it and what you're looking for. So that's one way that you can customize it. Another way that you can customize it, because they have given us so many extra drills, let's say you just really like the color blue and you want this whole thing to be variations of shades of blue. You can do that. What you can do is instead go, okay, first range, 60 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. I want anything in that range to be DMC 797. And I feel like if you tackle it in this way, you're ignoring what the symbols say. And this is all just going to be one solid color, like just all dark blue. And then you're just having like that kind of variation. And it's kind of, it's giving less like visual depth to the potion bottles, but it's still showing like different colors and having that kind of variety. So you could instead be like, I just want my whole thing to be shades of blue, and do your temperature ranges this way. I think alternatively what you could do, given that, okay, let's go with me here. This is my idea. This is not something that they suggested. They were like, here's some ideas to share that we're, going to put in the listing as customization options. And if you have any others, you can feel free to throw those in too. Here's one of mine. If you want to go really hog wild, you have a total of 16 different DMC codes, 16 different color shades, right? In here. So we have like 4 shades of blue, 4 shades of green, 4 shades of orange, 4 shades of yellow. So 16 different colors. Honestly, going back to how I do my current charts, I would be really tempted to assign these much smaller color ranges like I have here. And then there's going to be a lot more variety. It would be up to you how you'd want to do it. I would probably maybe still keep it in color families and be like, okay, 59 and below is the darkest shade of blue. 60 to 62 is the next darkest shade of blue. And then we'll go, 60 through 64 is that shade of blue. And then the lightest shade of blue is 65 to 67. And then we're going to go into the greens. So 68 and 69 is going to be dark shade of green. 70 to 72, medium shade green. Medium light shade of green for 75, 77, 70, 79 is going to be the lightest shade of green. And then let's go into the oranges and the yellows, so on and so forth. Again, if you're tackling it in that kind of way, then you're going to ignore the variation of symbols in here and just go, was the temperature on this day 62 degrees? The way I've mapped it out is I want it all to be this dark blue. So you just do all dark blue in here and you ignore the different symbols. And it's just one color instead of a color variation. I really hope that makes sense. This is a little bit of a new concept to me, the idea of having color variations within a specific day. But if that feels confusing to you, you can just break it down to like, I just want one color, not a whole color family, to represent a particular day. And that's totally an option too. I'm gonna throw out a couple other customization options just because why not? I'm gonna give you lots of different ideas. There are some people that I know have done this as a cross-stitch conversion project already, like as a chart before Diamond Art Studio UK released it printed. And they have actually found a way to track both the low and the high temperature in one bottle. And I think the way that they've done it is, let me think how to put it. Okay, let's say the low temperature for the day is 60 degrees and the high temperature was 78 degrees. So then I would take symbols 1 and 2 and have that be the color for the low temperature, and symbols 3 and 4 and have that be the color for the high temperature. So you could do it that way. That seems confusing to me. So I don't know that I would do it that way, but you could. So there is that. The other customization thing you can do is to, if you don't want to necessarily track the temperature, you could track other things. Basically anything that you can give a range to and assign colors to those ranges, you can do. Let's say you have this and we're ignoring, let's say this isn't temperature. So let's say this is number of pages I've read in a book that day. Let's say I read between 60 and 70 pages in a book, and so this is the color I give for that. And so on and so forth. You can make these numbers whatever you want them to. You could track like how many steps you took in that day, how many, I don't know. You can find different things that you want to track if you don't want to necessarily track the temperature. If there's something else that you're just like, I want to track this instead. How many drills you placed in a day? I don't know. But that's something else you can do. Now, Diamond Art Studio UK did not include any special drills in this. I think that was probably the right call. I'd imagine that that would have added a lot more cost to it. And they're also leaving it open to customization on our part as crafters. We can dig into our special drills and go, you know what? For this lightest color of blue, instead of using this color, I'm going to use this light blue AB that I have in my stash. Or you could disregard all the drills they've included completely for the potion bottle colors and swap in all special drills. That's what I have for my current temperature project. These are all like a glimmer diamond from another shop that from a shop that sells specialty drills. So it just kind of depends like what you want it to be, but that's another customization option as well. I really appreciate that they did, again, they really included a lot of extra diamonds with the idea that they want us to be able to customize it in a way that, one, makes sense for our brains, and two, is going to kind of represent what we want it to represent. So they've included a ton of extra diamonds. We obviously have these colors, which are background colors that you'll be using. And then there are some fun little like seasonal elements on some of these shelves. Like we have these cute little trees here and here. And again, you're gonna wanna follow the symbols that are there. Basically, it's just the ones that are in white that are going to be what you're customizing for whatever you're tracking, whether that's the temperature or not. Some of these potion bottles, like these have butterflies in the middle, which is really cute. We have a pumpkin and down here for Halloween and some snowflakes for like the winter. And if you live in a place where you're like, December isn't a wintry month, we don't have snow there, this is a square drill canvas. You could just cover up these snowflakes with the dark background drill colors instead. So that's an option too. I just noticed that like some of the bottles for February are shaped like hearts because Valentine's Day. I'm sure there's other things that I'm missing, but like Teeny Weeny XStitch did try to incorporate some like fun ways to kind of indicate different seasonal elements, which is that's really cute. That's the first time I've noticed the hearts on here. So I know that this was a ton of information. I have completed one full temperature project for 2024, and I'm now, I'm up to date with my 2025 temperature project. And I've done a couple of videos on temperature projects as well that I will have linked below if you want some kind of further questions. Like I did a what I wish I'd known before I did my first temperature diamond painting project. Some of that is not going to be applicable because it involves like how to decide what chart you're going to use and stuff. It's doing it as a conversion. Whereas Diamond Art Studio UK has taken so much of the legwork out of it for us as crafters and have made it just more at our fingertips, like kind of an all-inclusive package. But there are still maybe some helpful tips in there, like how to figure out what your color ranges are, where are some different resources like websites to see historically like what the temperature ranges have been, like what the high temperatures have been on various days in past years where you live. I'll have those linked below. There's like timeanddate.com, Wonderground. There's one that I think is more just US only that is sometimes useful. So you can then put in like your zip code or your city and it'll give you that historical data. But I'll have some of those other videos linked below if you want to hear me kind of explaining and talking about it in more depth if this is still feeling confusing to you. Let me see if I can give you just a really succinct recap. You're going to get this kit from Diamond Art Studio UK. It's going to have the canvas with everything printed on it. You're filling in, each of these potion bottles represents a day, each shelf represents a month, and you're going to have assigned colors to temperatures. In this case, if you're doing it exactly as charted, color families to temperatures. So like all 4 shades of blue are going to be this temperature range. If my high on this day was between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit, I'm going to use the shades of blue and use those 4 different shades of blue and match them to the various symbols in this potion bottle. So that January 1st, that high temperature of 62 degrees Fahrenheit is going to be represented by the blue color family. And then the next day it's 73 degrees as the high. And so all the shades of green are going to represent that temperature on day 2 in that potion bottle, so on and so forth. Diamond Art Studio UK has included enough drills for you to do it just in that way. They've also included enough drills and extras that if you just wanted to do this whole thing in shades of blue, shades of green, shades of orange, instead of all 4 colors, you can do that. You can decide to do the color ranges, the average for each month. And so instead of it being by year, have it be like by month. And so you're going to have all 4 color families in each month. And there's endless other customization options too. If you have questions, leave them in the comments below, and also check out Diamond Art Studio UK's Facebook page, where I know that people will probably be talking about this. But now I want to talk about some of the logistics. Let's talk about price, shipping times, shipping costs, that sort of thing. So stick around for this and let me see what I can give you kind of a rundown for. So the size on the kit is 45 by 75 centimeters. It's a pretty good size. The price point they're listing at is £65, which right now I just popped it in a converter, and that's around $87 US. That's going to fluctuate just depending on whatever the value of the dollar is versus the pound. So know that. As far as shipping goes, for my fellow US residents, so there's lots of details here. What they're doing is they're covering as much of the fees as they can, and then any other charges that we're incurring will happen at checkout. So there shouldn't be any surprise fees upon delivery. I don't know if you guys have ordered from other shops that I've gotten like a surprise email from UPS. It's like, hey, this thing is on its way to you and here's the additional fee that you're gonna owe. This should not be happening with Diamond Art Studio UK. So I think you just want to let them know if it does. Now, they are subsidizing shipping and stuff like crazy. They're eating a ton of this cost, you guys. So I know it's still going to sound high, but this is truly a small shop and they're eating as much as they possibly can. So it's going to be about $20. It's £19.99 for shipping for one kit. And for every additional kit, it's adding 1.67 pounds. Convert that to dollars. And just to put it in perspective, they're subsidizing like a third of the shipping cost and eating that. So I know it's still high. My recommendation when you're ordering from them is to kind of spread out the shipping costs by getting multiple kits. They have a ton of kits in stock that they restocked, and they also have a ton of kits that they released for pre-order. So if you wanted to take advantage, you absolutely could. Just also a quick note, if you want to see some reviews of completed kits from this company and just sort of hear what my experience has been of working on these kits before you decide if you want to buy, I'll have those post reviews linked below. Spoiler alert, I've had a great experience with these kits. Their customer service at the shop is top notch, some of the best that's out there in the diamond painting world, and they are constantly trying to make improvements, and they just have a really high quality product, you guys. So I feel really good about recommending them to you for sure. This pre-order is open now, and I'll have it linked directly below if you want to go and get in on the pre-order. It's going to be open through Sunday, September 28th, and they're going to place the order on September 29th. They're saying 8 to 12 weeks turnaround time. And I think they're hoping it might be a little bit faster. Sometimes it is faster, and they're really, really good about posting updates and keeping us up to date on the Facebook page. So I always say when you're ordering from a small shop, though, make sure you're reading the fine print, check what they're saying about what their turnaround time is going to be when it comes to shipping. I do have a discount code you can use if you want to save a bit on your purchase. It is for 10% off, and it is WASHI10, WASHI10. That's an affiliate code, so I may make a small commission if you choose to use it. There's no pressure whatsoever, but thank you so much if you do. This is a company that I feel really good about partnering with and standing behind as an affiliate, and honestly, I love that I get to do it. My Void Kitty is, you can see his little whiskers over to the side. He's checking out what I'm doing over here. If you guys are following Diamond Art Studio UK's page, you may have seen that the cat distribution system has selected them, and oh, there he is. This is Skip. Hi, buddy. He's like, plastic, can I eat it? They were selected by the cat distribution system by a Void kitten of their own. So if you want to see cute pet updates of their new kitten, as well as their amazing dog Indy, whose branding you get to see on some of their kits, that's another reason really to follow their Facebook page. This cat. Anyway, you guys, I hope that this was really helpful. I'm so excited that Diamond Art Studio UK is doing this kit. I have been saying for a while that I feel like this is kind of what we need as diamond painters, and it would be such a good introduction to the concept of a temperature project for people that are really new to it. Because let's be honest, even with this all laid out for us, it can be kind of confusing to kind of wrap your brain around, right? Imagine though having to do this completely from scratch, going and hunting down a chart, having to go through kind of the process of figuring out how to do a cross-stitch chart on a blank canvas, counting and placing and so on and so forth, then having to go and source your own drills and map everything out and figure out, wait, how do I do this with temperature ranges, all that sort of thing. Diamond Art Studio UK, I feel like, has truly taken as much of the guesswork out of this as possible and has tried to make it really clear, explaining how to go about this, how to tackle this. And I think they've done a great job, but I also know that they are open to feedback, especially if you're someone that this is truly brand new to you and you feel like there are certain things that would be helpful for them to include, things for, me to mention and go over. Please, please, please let me know either in a comment here, or I'm sure you can contact them. I'll put their email in the description box below, or you can message them on Facebook, I believe. So just know that is feedback you can 100% give, and I have a feeling they would honestly want and appreciate that. But I'm going to wrap it up here. I really hope that I made this feel less confusing. I'm so sorry if I did not. But yeah, check out my temperature project playlist below if you want further viewing, further info. And either way, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and invite you to subscribe if you want to see more diamond painting videos from me. I review and unbox a variety of different companies here on my channel and do other diamond painting tutorials and whatnot, like my temperature project playlist, and do weekly whip and chats if you want some company while you're crafting, and we'll keep you posted on my temperature projects going forward as well. So I hope you guys are doing really, really well. Have a day and a week that's as wonderful as you are, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.